Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Beany. If you found me here on social media, it's likely because of the documentation I've shared from my own journey, both in an abusive relationship, as well as my healing journey after I escaped and began to reclaim my own life. Today, we're diving into one of the most powerful tools that you can use either while you're in the midst of abuse, and also even if you are out and you're beginning your own healing process. And that is documenting incidences and inconsistencies. This specific tool you can begin to put into practice immediately, whether you're just starting to realize that things feel off and toxic, or whether you already know your relationship is abusive and you're beginning to think about what your exit plan might be. I need you all to know that I tell and suggest this to you because I lived it. And the truth is, I didn't start documenting to be public or to show anyone. I started because I was questioning my own reality. Did he really tell me that? And I just forgot? Is my memory going? Am I overreacting? Or did that play out like I remembered it? The gaslighting was so intense that I didn't trust my own memory. I didn't trust my own instincts. Being able to look back at my notes, at my screenshots, at my old text messages, it gave me the proof I needed to reassure my own truth. Yes, he did say that. No, he didn't ever tell me this. Yes, it really was that bad. I was not remembering things incorrectly. But what I discovered is that documenting in the beginning saved me mentally. And what I didn't know at the time was that ultimately my documenting would end up physically saving me as well. So many of us already know, and I have talked to so many women lately about post-separation abuse that they are experiencing, and there are many reasons that we stay. But a big one is because leaving an abusive relationship is the most dangerous time for a victim. I want to be clear. What I'm about to talk about is a very personal account of my individual situation. And I am fully aware that every situation is unique and the dangers are different depending upon your situation. But there were moments when I knew that the police could not get there in time. Like in the video that I have shown of him charging into my bedroom while I lay in bed after he climbed through my living room window. I had about 10 seconds or less from the time I realized he was going to be in my room to react. And I turned my camera on, and I knew from experience that when he knew the camera was on, that he was a lot less threatening. He knew he was being filmed, and in that moment, that gave me just a layer of a little bit more safety than I would have had otherwise. I talked myself into a lot of things while I was in this relationship, and at first, I didn't want to believe that any of this was necessary. But now, looking back at those journal entries and the screenshots and the emails and the audio recordings, I realized how essential they were. In the earlier phases, those documentations, it helped me to enter into the initial phase of radical acceptance. They helped me to identify patterns of abuse, and ultimately, in the end, they helped me to expose him. And in my case, that was what finally got him to stop stalking and harassing me from across the country. Now, disclaimer here, I would never recommend exposing someone without fully understanding your situation. This can be extremely dangerous. And in my case, the authorities were no help for various reasons, including, my trauma bond. But the documenting gave me power when no one else could intervene. So let's talk about why documenting is so important. Documenting helps you to remember the truth. When you're being gaslit, your reality gets twisted. You start doubting yourself. Was that thing he said really cruel, or am I overreacting? Did that really happen the way I remembered it? So writing it down, recording it, screenshotting it, it kind of anchors your memory. It reminds you that what you experienced was in fact real. It protects you if things escalate as well. This isn't about being paranoid. It's about being prepared. If you ever need to involve the authorities or legal professionals or even support networks, having a record of conversations and incidences and inconsistencies can be golden. It also helps you see patterns. Sometimes when you're in the middle of abuse, it's hard to recognize the bigger picture. But if you document dates and times and incidences, suddenly patterns start to appear. Patterns that confirm what your gut has been screaming to you all along. When I first started, I had no idea where to begin. Honestly, it felt tedious and even embarrassing, but here's how I did it and how you can do it too. Start small with phone notes. I literally opened my notes app on my phone and I started jotting down incidences as soon as they happened. Dates, times, what was said, what was done. I didn't worry about it being perfectly written. I just wrote the truth. And then I moved to screenshots and emails, texts, emails, any digital communication. I screenshotted it. If it feels awkward, remember this is for your sanity, not to impress anyone. Every screenshot is a reminder that your memory is valid. I moved on to video or audio recordings. Where it is legal to do so, I would start recording conversations. This was huge for me because there were moments where I doubted myself, and listening back confirmed everything I already knew deep down. Timelines and logs were next. Eventually, I created a document that was basically a timeline. Incident, date, what happened, how I felt, any witnesses. Over time, this became a clear, undeniable record that reinforced my own truth. Here's the thing. I didn't start strong. I struggled. I would start taking notes, then get discouraged. I would think, maybe I'm overreacting, or maybe I remembered it wrong. And the gaslighting was relentless. But the moment I committed to documenting consistently, everything changed. I stopped doubting myself. I stopped replaying conversations over and over in my head, and I started trusting my instincts again. And here's a truth I need you to hear. You are not crazy. If you're feeling like you are, that's the gaslighting talking. The documentation is your armor against it. Now, documenting, it's not always easy. You might struggle with maybe feeling paranoid or obsessive, but remember, you're in a hyper-aware state, and documentation isn't obsession, it's self-preservation. You might feel shame. Some people feel embarrassed or guilty for documenting, like they're doing something wrong. They're not. They're protecting themselves. You might feel overwhelmed. You don't have to document everything perfectly from the start. Start small, be consistent, and it will grow into something that supports you. Think of it like building maybe a safety net. Each note, each screenshot or recording is a strand. Alone, it might feel insignificant, but together, it becomes a net strong enough to catch you when you need it most. Here's what I want you to do today. Grab your phone or a notebook, write down one incident from the past week. Date, time, what happened, how you felt. Start a folder for your screenshots or your text or your emails. Keep it organized by date. Decide if audio recordings is the route you want to go, if it's legal and safe where you are, and consider using it for conversations that feel critical. Commit to doing this consistently. 5 minutes a day can save your sanity. I know it's not easy. I know it can feel tedious or scary, but here's the thing. Documenting, it's not about being perfect. It's about reclaiming your reality, your voice, and your power. The first time I looked back at my notes and my screenshots and my recordings, I felt a wave of relief wash over me. I was no longer questioning myself. I was no longer trapped in a cycle of doubt and gaslighting. I had proof, I had clarity, and quite honestly, I had freedom. If you start today, you can give yourself that same gift. And it's not just about remembering the past. It's about protecting your future and building your strength. Your reality matters, your truth matters, and you are not alone in this journey. You're not crazy, you're healing. And I'm rooting for you.